Hey guys, what's up? Sorry, I have missed a whole week of reviews. This is because I moved cities. I moved from Sydney to Melbourne, and this is where I live now. Actually, this is not where I lived. I moved into my actual house today, but this is my sister's place. So I'm just coming here for the day because most of my stuff is still here. Okay, let's get right to it. The film we're going to review is up for Best Picture for the year 2019. It is one of my absolute favorite directors, ninth film. And if you've been following his career, you would know that this director is Quentin Tarantino. Okay, before you hate on me and you hate on this review, just know that I love Quentin Tarantino with a passion. He is in my top 3 greatest directors of all time. I will watch and enjoy everything he puts out. Some of his films I enjoy more than others, Django Unchained, but other of his film I'm just like guilty pleasure would watch it over and over. Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Hateful Eight. I just love everything he does. So without further ado, the film that I'm talking about is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And like the film's name suggests, it is a fairy tale. It is definitely a fairy tale. And like all fairy tale, Quentin Tarantino is good at revenge fairy tales. And that's what this film is about. It is Hollywood's revenge on one of the saddest events to have ever happened in that city in its golden era, which was around the 60s and 70s when the war was done, people started making movies, the hippies are free, the drugs are running wild, and there's the Vietnam War, so people have something to revolt against. And there's something that you need to know. Before I go on with this review, I need you to know 2 things. One is there will be multiple spoilers, and you need to kind of know what you're watching or the history of what you're watching before you go into the movie. And number 2 is, and I'll just get it out of the way and you're gonna hate on me, this is not Quentin Tarantino's best film. It's in his, probably in his top 5 or top 6, but not numero uno. That is not the spot for it. So, long story short, what is the plot of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? There are 2 stories running. Keep up with me, this is a lot of explanation. Story number 1, the true story. What happened in Hollywood, there was a young actress by the name of Sharon Tate, married to a hip, young up-and-coming director by the name of Roman Polanski. Both real characters, both real humans. Roman Polanski is still alive and still making movies. One of his movies, one of my favorites, The Pianist. But his wife got murdered in 1969 in their home when he was away, along with some friends. His wife was brutally murdered, and they used her blood to write graffiti all over the house and whatnot by a crazy group of hippies. And this crazy group of hippies, I'm a hippie, so it kind of offends me that they were crazy, were led by a cult leader named Charles Manson. And if you're familiar, this guy's one of the biggest killers in American history. And they murdered her and her unborn baby, so she was a pregnant actress, and a few other people, and that's the true story. That's what happened in Hollywood. But Hollywood's not gonna let that history stand and think it's okay. So what does Quentin Tarantino do? He takes a revenge. And the best way that Hollywood takes revenge at anything bad that happens to it, it makes a movie about it. And this is that movie. Okay, so that's story number 1, which is definitely not how it happens in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Keep in mind, this is a fairy tale. So Quentin Tarantino writes 2 characters to come in and to alter the actual reality that happened. And these characters are a has-been actor, small time, hasn't really hit the big time, by the name of Rick Dalton, a fabled character played by the incredible Leonardo DiCaprio. Hate him or love him, he's always gonna be good, and he's always dependable. And who else to be the best support to Leonardo DiCaprio's Rick Dalton's actor than Brad Pitt? I mean, Brad Pitt is never bad in any movie he's in. Everyone thinks that, oh, whoa, can't believe he could act. The guy has been acting amazingly his whole career. If you don't believe me, watch Legend of the Fall and watch Fight Club. So underrated. His whole career he's been underrated, but he gets to shine here. So Rick Dalton is this fabled actor. He's trying to get his mojo back, trying to prove that he can act, and he's not past his prime. And his best friend / handyman, stuntman, do everything else around the house man is small-time stuntman Cliff Booth. And they're best friends, and their storyline is he's trying to get Leonardo DiCaprio's character is trying to make it big in the movies, yada yada, and his stuntman is just taking care of things around the house. And then somehow he meets a group of hippies, and that's the crazy group of hippies that end up killing Sharon Tate. Now in the movie, and this is where it gets a little bit confusing, is Rick Dalton's character is neighbors with Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski. And when the hippies come on that fateful night to murder Sharon Tate, they go to the wrong house and end up beating Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth's character, who are the neighbors. So instead of going to kill Sharon Tate and make history real, they decide that because for some odd reason, very last minute, they decide that they weren't going to kill them, but they were going to kill Cliff Booth and Rick Dalton because they're actors in movies that incite violence, so that's their reasoning, apparently. Okay, so this seems like a whole long overbaked explanation, but the last 15 minutes of the film is basically the most exciting. And what ends up happening is, instead of them killing these Hollywood celebrities in their home, the Hollywood celebrities fight back and end up killing the crazy gang of hippies. So Sharon Tate never dies. She lives on forever to have this, well, not forever. She lives on happily to have this baby, and no one gets murdered in Hollywood because they all have their revenge. The only ones that get murdered are the crazy gang of hippies, and they get murdered in great Tarantino fashion. Yes, the gruesome, gory violence is all part of his revenge fairy tales. And why is it not Quentin Tarantino's best? Let's just say the two narratives, kind of like my overbaked explanation, they run for a while, for like probably like nearly 2.5 hours, and you're just like, when is it gonna connect? When is Margot Robbie's Sharon Tate gonna meet up with Cliff Booth, or when's she gonna meet up with Rick Dalton? None of it happens at all until the very, very end, when the gang of hippies come and they try to murder Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth, but instead get murdered, and then they finally meet. So that's where the fable meets reality. And the reason why it's not his best is because he tries, like, the screenplay is incredible, but it's somehow overbaked, and I feel at some time he was kind of like, okay, when am I gonna connect this? When am I gonna connect this? So he's just like throws the ending in there, but by that point you're a little bit confused, probably a little bit bored, and he might have lost you 2.5 hours into the story. And so when that climax happens, you're just like, oh, that was pretty long. Kind of like this. This is a pretty long review. And for that long, overbaked, I guess, boring, and I can't believe I'm using that for Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, because of that, he kind of loses you. And to be bored at the movies is not bueno. Never. And Quentin Tarantino has never bored me until Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Everything else, I predict that this will win Best Costume. Costumes are insane. Cinematography is good. Production, editing's alright. Other than that, great cast, but really the stars here are Brad Pitt, who will win Best Supporting Actor, and Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, Bruce Lee's in it too. Thank Bruce Lee. But will I be thinking of this in the future? Yeah, but not fondly. Thank you, Quentin. Let's try for number 10. Let's make up for this.